So, my dear philosophers, this is the commencement of a project. At least 200 philosophers we will be identifying in the circles of my friends, in my real life friends and my Facebook friends. We will be identifying who are the top 200 philosophers. Now, philosophy is such a misunderstood subject. Many people, they don't understand that philosophy is for everybody, and philosophy is to be used as a tool, as a life's skill, and what the purpose of philosophy, that is happiness in your life, and that is satisfaction, because one of the definition of a philosopher is the person who tackles life problems with equanimity. Who is a philosopher? The person who takes life problems with equanimity. If there is any problem, if there is any issue, any obstacle, so philosopher will take the problems with the tranquility. The philosopher cannot be disturbed if there is any situation and that situation is disturbing, but philosopher is immune to that. That is a philosopher. And each and every person wants to be wise. Wisdom. We want to have wisdom. Now, how we can be wise without philosophy? It is not possible, because the very definition or the etymology, the origin of the word philosophy, that is to seek wisdom, love for wisdom. And when we love something, so it means that that thing we don't have, and we seek that thing. That is the very definition of love as well. So when we say philosopher, so philosopher is a person who knows or who uses philosophy in his or her life. Now, there is misconception that the people think that philosophy is an academic exercise only, that you study the books of philosophy, you have a degree of philosophy, you go to university or any school and there you study philosophy and that's all. No. Philosophy is the search of ultimate reality through rational methods. And when we utilize our reason, our mind, our intellect, so we are philosophers. So each and every person can be a philosopher, should be a philosopher, and in one sense or another sense, everybody is a philosopher. Because we think, we use our mind, we make decisions, we judge things, we put value on things, we evaluate things in our life. So it means that everybody is a philosopher. Now, do we know about philosophy or not? For example, in one sense or another sense, everybody is engineer, everybody is doctor, but there are professional doctors and there are professional engineers. But it doesn't mean that you cannot do engineering if you don't have the degree of an engineer. Similarly, if you don't have the degree of a doctor, so you cannot do at least taking care of your health in one way or another way. For example, if there is preventive medicine, so you can prevent your diseases by taking precautionary measures. So in that sense, you are also a doctor. You are not a professional doctor, you don't have a degree, but you are functioning as a doctor in one sense or another sense. But philosophy is far, far easy to be a philosopher, because when we say who is a philosopher, there is a difference between sage and philosopher. Sage, S-A-G-E. There is a difference, because sage is the person that after the philosophical process, he or she reached to a stage that now he is or she is fully wise, and that person is totally control of his reasoning and his the process, his intellectual process. So now that person now is sage, sages of the ages. There are few people who have reached to the stage of to be a sage, and our approach, our project is not only to be a philosopher, but also to be a sage. I will be discussing in detail who is a sage and who is a today in my this introduction. How is that you start thinking, when you become critical thinker, Critical thinking means that when you start evaluating things, when you don't accept things as it is, but you start asking questions. So the time you start asking questions, you are a philosopher. When you say why these things happened, what is the reason behind this thing, is this thing reasonable or not, is this thing acceptable rationally or not, so you are a philosopher. So our project, we will be having like 200 philosophers, and I would request you people to help me, assist me in this identification process, that who want to be philosophers, and they declare it is not necessary that you must go to a university to have a degree in philosophy. You can be a philosopher when you start thinking rationally, and when you start thinking consciously, when you start asking questions. So the basic purpose of philosophy is to be wise, to have wisdom, to have happiness, and to have tranquility in life. A philosopher is a person who has a lot of tranquility, serenity. That person is always calm, cool and calm. Nothing can disturb a philosopher, because a philosopher is so strong from inside that the outside things, external things, are either meaningless to him, to her, or external things do not affect that person negatively. Now, one of the philosophy, which is Stoicism, that particularly focus on this aspect of philosophy. But each and every other branch of philosophy we will be discussing in detail this week, that also focuses to make your life immune to problems, immune especially to mental problems. This is a very, very wrong concept, that people think that philosophy itself make you confused. Philosophy gives you clarity. If you want to have clarity in life, that you understand things as the things are, because the search of reality, that is philosophy. So you become a realistic person, because at the same time you become thoughtful. You have great ideas. Your power of imagination, that is increased so much. Philosophication or philosophizing means that you started analyzing things. When you look at something, so you don't take it as it is, as it appears. You go in detail, and you try to have such an impact on the world because of your thinking process, that then you take things in a serious way. Serious way doesn't mean that you become so like serious. Philosophers are very happy people usually. This was the development of philosophy from the Greek times. Later on, the people, they restricted it only to academic circles, and then the outside people, the common people, that was not like one philosopher, Bertrand Russell. He is so much proponent. He always stress that everybody can be a philosopher. And philosophy for layman, a layman, a person who does not know about the technicalities of philosophy, but still that person can enjoy philosophy. And then we have the book of Will Durant, The Pleasures of Philosophy. The pleasures of philosophy, that when you read philosophy, when you philosophize, when you analyze things, when you ask questions, when you don't accept things as it is, and you start asking questions. So this curiosity, this creativity gives you a lot of pleasure. Then you become so happy, because you are a creative kind of person, and you then have a lot of productivity. Then you have a lot of productivity because you produce things, and then you make your life so happy, and the people who around you, they are also happy, because then you are the person who is passing the time in ideas, not people and events. And this is one of the signs of strong personality, that those people, they are strong personality, they have character. The people, they have personality, they are not mere persons, or they are not mere persona. So those people, they then focus too much on philosophy, because then you discuss ideas, you ask questions, you analyze things. So this is my message for today. This week I will dedicate to make you people philosophers, at least sensitize you to create that interest of philosophy, that everybody in this universe, on this planet Earth, can be a philosopher. It doesn't mean that you need some special studies of philosophy. Yes, that will be like making you more professional if you go in detail and you study the books of philosophy. But if you start thinking, just thinking, then you are a philosopher. Because another synonym of philosopher is thinker, intellectual, scholar, wise person, theorist, the person who doesn't take things on the surface but go in detail, analyze, and when we analyze, so later on we synthesize. So I will dedicate my this week to philosophy. Thank you.